The last one is 38, 24-38, the rapture of the elect again. And let's just see if I've done that right. Yeah, 38 is, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Now, that's talking about the rapture clearly, right? The ark is the metaphor for the rapture, right? So it can't be into the famine, because there's no way people are going to be eating and drinking. It has to be not only, because we were saying before, it has to be in the fourth seal, the third seal, where there's a food shortage, right? So the food shortage is going to be, if you look at the, let's look at the third seal as year 1, the fourth seal, famine, is year 2, just to space this out. In the second half of the first year, the famine is going to be worse than the first half, right? So, because you're going to the first half of the famine on the next year. If that makes sense? I don't know if that makes sense. But clearly, I'll say it differently. If they're eating and drinking, it has to be the milder end of the food shortage. It can't be the more severe end of the food shortage. They wouldn't be eating and drinking, would they? And marrying and giving in marriage, would they? So if you're talking about a timeline, we've started in the food shortage, haven't we? I just paid nearly £5 for a bottle of organic olive oil the other day, and before COVID, that was like £1.80. Now, and then last week it was £3.60. It's now £5. I think. Do you know what I'm saying? So the price is going up leads to a food shortage. Does it not? Of course it does. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but in South Africa, when COVID started, there was queues, or you would call them lines, around shops that were practically empty. Practically empty. It's not like they were sitting there with like a shop full of food, but queues 8 or 10 miles long, waiting for that shop to have food in it.
It's insane.
I mean, that's already happened. Yeah. It's a foot in the water tester. That's coming back, and then some. The food shortage comes with the food prices. That's what's happening. That's where we're at. People's salaries aren't going up. This has all been mechanized. This is all by design. I remember sometime through COVID, I think a lot of people saw this. There was a guy. Everyone knew that the ships, the container ships, weren't getting docked and they weren't getting offloaded. But then there's this guy who was on the inside working on unloading them, and he was saying we're getting told not to touch them, they're not coming in. And even the ones that do come in and do land, and we're not allowed to unpack them. And even the ones that are allowed to be unpacked and sorted and stuff, we're not allowing the trucks to come in and take them away. And there was a massive backlog. There was ships all over the sea at the port, waiting to dock and waiting to unload. This is all being tested. This is all being tested for when it's going to be rolled out. There's going to be no food. They're taking the full food suppliers. I know farmers that have been approached and told what to do and what not to do, in a threatening manner in Scotland.
The ones that lost all their farmers, basically.
Well, yeah, that's why they attack the farmers first, because they're after the whole food supply. They cannot achieve what they're about to achieve unless we're just about to eat our children.
Yeah. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
Yeah. So, I don't know what to tell you, but this is how I'm reading it. This is how I've been taught to read it, and I'm telling you again, and I'm not being falsely modest, I'm a 5-star idiot. Half the people listening to this, maybe more, will say, yeah, I agree with that after what you've just said. But I can't say anything else. That's what I've been taught. I know the distinction between what I've been taught and what are my own thoughts. I know the things that I'm sure of and things I'm not sure of. But even the things I'm sure of, I'm open to being wrong.
Sure.
Because we're all fallible, every one of us.
Absolutely.
And none of us know the full truth anyway, because if we did, we'd be Jesus.
Yeah.
And none of us are Jesus.
And we probably wouldn't be able, he knows what we can handle. He doesn't give us the full dose of truth, because we'd probably become way too high on our own supply, so to speak.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Okay, so one of the things that I learned the hard way, really, but I won't go into why I learned it the hard way, was that there is no doubt whatsoever that the Jews are the bloodline of Satan. And in the Garden of Eden, the fruit is a metaphor, as the fruit of the womb. That's in other places in the Bible. You need witnesses. Trees, the cedar trees, all that. They're tribes, they're nations, they're peoples. That's what a tree is a metaphor all throughout the Bible. When you look at the root word for she was beguiled. Is it the word beguiled? That means to lay down with her beguiler. And I think that
it's also interchangeable with the word seduced.
That's what I'm saying. Seduced, beguiled, which means to lay with. Okay. You can look at. I mean, we could go into a whole video another time if you want us to lay it all out. But I think other people have done it better than I could. But I'm just overviewing this, right? But I can certainly prove anything I say, or at least try to. But it's pretty clear, even when it says put enmity, when God says, "I will put enmity between your seed and her seed." What the hell do you think that means? Do you know what I mean? People can say what they like, but what do you think that means? That was God, separating the seeds. Now, I think the two things that are damning here are things that are not necessarily easy to spot, but they should be. One is that Adam's bloodline is recorded all the way through the Bible. Adam to Jacob and beyond, and it's just all the way through. At no point on Adam's bloodline, no point is Cain ever mentioned. Never. Cain has his own bloodline, which is entirely separate to Adam's. I mean, how much more do you want to know? This is going back to a sort of pre-Adamite sort of a argument too, so I'll just include that just for the heck of it. When Adam was cast out of Eden to the east, right, he was given a visual indicator to protect him from people killing him, right? Remember? That was pretty clear, right? So protect him from who? He was the firstborn, was he not? Along with his murdered brother. Protect him from who? There's no doubt just in that there was pre-Adamites, which I believe are the black people. That's another story. But he was given a visual indicator. Now, the old pal Bill Kinney, he reckons it was kind of like the root words go into like a lamp, almost like there was like a visual sort of a lamp, glowing from him. And I don't see it that way. He could well be right, but I don't see it that way. I see when I look at the Edomites, which are part Canaanite, which we all know Canaanites came from Cain, who have always been wicked throughout history. But I don't think that would be. I don't for some reason think that would be God's creation. I think it could be the devil's creation. No, I'm just guessing. I mean, it's just a wild guess. But is that visual indicator not something to do with either? It could be part Oriental because the eyes are very different to every other nation on earth. It could be massive hooks noses. I don't know. That would be very different to anyone else on earth. So visually they could be identified pretty clearly. I don't know. I'm really guessing here. Really reaching here. Could it be the egghead that all the pharaohs had that were deemed the highest sort of bloodline of the Canaanites? Isn't one of the highest ranking Canaanites today? I'm just guessing. Rothschild. Do I not have pictures of him with an egghead? I'm just guessing. So, there's visual indicators. But here's the thing that kind of proves the sex thing out in the Bible. They were innocent. Adam and Eve. They had heavenly bodies, and then they knew they were naked. That to me, what else could that be? It's when we're talking about the womb and But here's the thing that kills it for me every time. Am I supposed to believe, as a lukewarm Christian, if I were one, because that's what they believe, they're telling me that I should believe that God, the Almighty Father of lights, God, the God of all creation, He decided to make the perfect man that was in His image. And he somehow screwed up and made the second generation a murderer. Am I going to believe that? Am I going to take that straight? Is that even plausible? Does that even add up to any bloody calculation? And besides, if he was a murderer, who did he learn murder from? If his dad was Adam, Who did he learn murder from? Where did he learn the concept of murder? Was there tellies back then? Were the Canaanites controlling the media back then? Do you know what I'm saying?
Probably.
I mean, am I supposed to believe this?
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
Okay, so the Canaanites were to be avoided by all Hebrews, white Hebrews. Adam means ruddy means to blush. The only race on earth that can blush even to this day are the white Europeans, right or wrong. Okay, and there's a million examples that are, even we were talking the other day, weren't we, about the description of Jesus, when John in Revelation, brass burning in a fire. Go and burn brass in a fire. You'll see it turns white. Right? It turns white. It says, his eyes were like a flame. That's blue. That flame's blue. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I'm giving up. But here's the thing. So they went down the lines, everyone trying to avoid them, breeding with them, and then they became Edomites because of Esau. Esau, you know the story of Esau. We will not go there. But he actually had the inheritance. This is part of what's going on today. He had the inheritance. He in his own mind gave it away in a deal for the red pottage, that part of the story. But then I used to think, well, we're related to Jacob. Jacob's a sneaky so-and-so, because he went in and pretended he was his brother and got the blessing. But then I thought, hold on, it was a fair trade. Esau didn't have to trade his birthright, but he did. So, really, did Jacob do anything sneaky because he went in there to try and reclaim what his brother was trying to take away from a straight deal? He's trying to do him out of the deal, right? So was it? Maybe. But nonetheless, he was the firstborn. So the Jews, number one, of what's going on today, they believe that they're the rightful inheritors of the earth. But don't forget, they're the children who are the wicked one. So when in the gospel, Jesus says to the Sadducees, who are the Edomites of that day, and we know that because he only ever refers to them as serpents, vipers, and something else. What else is it? They're all very snake-like. Okay, so vipers, snakes. You know how he refers. He only refers to them that way. Only them. No other sinner, no other race. He's my worst friend.
The Jews they're mixed race. God wouldn't allow for his elect to become mixed, so it doesn't make sense that the Jews are the chosen because they're not pure. It doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Never thought of that. Thanks, dog. I'm trying to get back on track.